nebo lagok in sugul again sabit noton nebo atkan tugul. Rani usini ko ngobo International Day of the Girl Child. Kigere tos kimiten nebo nakaikasen keberta noton netai. Karibu tena daktari, and you mentioned about the policies are there but we've not implemented. Why? Is it the goodwill, or we still have that stereotype like, you know, a woman belongs to the kitchen? And in fact, you mentioned about like you should be cooking at home.
It's still, I think the people to implement policies are not willing. I don't know whether, because the people in power, mainly, as I said, we have many men who are in power, and I think they need to support the women.
Yes.
They need to support this half. We cannot be talking about a country when half of the people are not represented in decision making.
Yes.
When half of the people, their choices are not respected. If you look at, I was mentioning about statistics, is globally 23% of women still earn less than men. And if you look at this is a global statistics, I'm sure in Kenya, it would be interesting. I remember reading a report by Equity Bank where women were earning less doing the same kind of job, which is quite sad. So even when you look at the decisions we make as a country, I'm told through research, most of the, if you look at even schools, most of the teachers are female. Maybe 6 out of 10 teachers in primary school, but 9 out of 10 head teachers are male. What does that tell us? That women are doing the work.
They're doing the work, yeah, more work.
They're doing the more work, and the leaders are men. So we need to ask ourselves those questions, because you cannot say then it is because we don't have women. We have so many women in those schools, even in board of management. And this was a research done by Usawa Agenda in 2022. And it pointed out to those gaps that you've got to us, you analyze the school, you realize teachers, female teachers are teaching, but the leaders of those schools are male. And this has a big implication, because our girls will be in school only seeing teachers who are female teaching, but when they look at the leadership position, they only see the male. So they have a head teacher who is male, they go to their church, they have a male pastor or a male priest, they go to the leaders in the community, whether you are talking about the Nyumba Kumi leaders, whether you are talking about the chiefs, whether you start even going to the county commissioner, deputy county commissioner, most of those people are still male. What does the message it is sent to them is that leaders are born male. And so when you want to push us to leadership, then you realize we probably are not fit, because in our mind we never grew up seeing people who look like us leading, because you can only become what you see. And I think we have a big responsibility to support girls to know they can be anything. They can be anything. And I'm happy that we have, of course, now we have people we can look up to. I've mentioned about Mother Koome. We have people, if you look at the current government, someone like Dr. Monica Juma, who has been in government for a very long time, who carry herself, with a lot of, she's someone you emulate, who inspires many girls. But those are just few. Yes. What about in our Mashinani, people who are not able to even get exposed to those girls? We need to send a message that, you know what, you as a girl, you can become a leader, and these are the leaders in your community. And we continue supporting that cause. If you look at 50% of us women, we don't have power in making decisions. Meaning that in your home, you're just there. You don't have power making decision. If you go to the communities, in our communities, even the crops you grow, they are crops for female, for women, and there are those that are for male. Those are for male are bringing money. The cash crops are owned by men. Yes. But these one, beans, potatoes, those ones that are for consumptions are owned by female. And the fact that you have no money, it means even the decisions you can make for your children or even for your family are limited. That notwithstanding, of course, we have seen that boys are also now continue to face issues to do with drug abuse and other sort of those things. But that doesn't mean that we forget that girls for many years, even now, are still left behind. And us saying that it is time for us to get to gender parity, where women are represented in leadership, in education, in making decisions doesn't mean that we are looking down on men. This is the world. This world is for all of us. It is not for girls and it is not for boys. It is for all of us. And I think the better, if we make progress towards achieving gender equality, it will also be very good for boys. And so sometimes when you talk about girls, everyone will be like, but boys have been left behind. And I'm like, there's nothing that has been taken away from boys. The education, they're still like accessing education the same way. And even when you look at studies that were done after and during COVID that was trying to show that who was affected more, the girls got pregnant. They didn't go back to school, many of them. Yeah. The boys, even those who didn't go back to school, they went to earn income. They are doing something. The girls is because they can't go back. Maybe their parents are not able to take care of the children they have brought on to this life. And so you're like, when you get pregnant, you know, I can support you. But for boys, they went to look for opportunities. And so I sometimes look at the people who argue based on those statistics that, you know, also boys have been left behind. And I feel there's nothing that has been taken away. I think that is why I support these core competencies where the boys also need to get the skill of self-efficacy. Yes, I can. The fact that my woman is empowered, it is not taking anything away from them. Even if we get to the level where we have a female president, like Tanzania, it doesn't take anything away from men. You know, she's doing it. She's supporting her country. She's leading. Actually, you hear about founding fathers. Have you ever heard about founding mothers? No, we have never. Are they not there? They are there, but they are not given any, there's no voice. Their voices are not amplified. Actually, when you listen to even the story of Abuyi Otieno, when you go back to that story, the negative will always be the one shared. You know, she did this, she opposed this, she opposed culture and all that, instead of looking at what she managed to achieve. If you look at Wangari Maathai when she was an activist, what did she manage to achieve? We forget about so many things that women have done, and we only now hear about founding fathers. And I'm always like, why do we talk about Mother Africa when we cannot have the mothers, you know, voice amplified and the things that they are doing? Even now, the issues of forced marriages, I think they are still there, and I know there are policies that have been enacted. But I remember a story where even when their policies, the people to implement the policies, whether they are chiefs, people of Nyubakumi, whether it is FGM, they close their eyes when those things happen because it is their way of life. So how can we ensure, one of the questions as a researcher I keep asking myself is, how can I use research to really speak about some of these issues, so that FGM is not just saying FGM is barbaric, because there are people who appreciate that as their way of life, but also now to show them what are the disadvantages, going beyond the looking at it as a culture and saying, okay, you know, when a woman goes through this, they experience issues during childbirth, they are prone to this, they are prone to this, so that at least people can start appreciating why we are talking about the importance of letting go some of those things, because mostly when girls go through FGM, they have to get married, they get out of school, they experience issues later in life, and I think those are the messages that we need to keep reminding people, that we are not saying just stop your culture. We are not disregarding where you're coming from, and we respect that, but we are looking at it from the health part of view, and also the things that it limit people, and especially girls. And so
if we go with the same rate, Dr. how are the figures, you know? I guess I understand it's worrying.
It is worrying. If you look at the SDG 5 monitoring, and I was looking at the statistics. Allow me to read, because statistics is something you want to be very clear. If we move at the current rate, it will take 300 years to end child marriage. 300 years. Can you imagine? Today. From today. And we are now how many years to, you know, 2030, because SDG we were supposed to achieve
7 years to
yes go. By 2030. Now we are saying, I was checking these statistics today, 300 years, 286 years to remove discriminatory laws. For us to have laws that respect both gender, it will take us 286 if we move at the same pace. 140 years for women to be represented equally in position of power. That for us to avoid the boys club thing, it will take us 140 years. And 49 years to achieve equal representation in parliament. Those are quite very sad statistics. it means we have to do something. And why for me I feel sad is because now we have all these voices saying girls, we have achieved gender parity, but the statistics cannot lie. These are facts.
These are stubborn facts.
Yes, they are facts. They are facts that have not just been established for Kenya. It is a global thing that girls continue to face issues. And it is going to take us so many years if we move at the same pace. And even now we are not even moving forward. We seem like we are going backward. We are having voices where people feel that when you talk about girls, you're forgetting about boys. And I'm lucky I'm just a mother of boys. So when I talk about girls, it's because I know the issues that we are facing. It's not because I'm coming at a personal where you have only girls as your babies and you want to represent them. No. For me, this is looking at it in a broader perspective. But so I think some of these laws that we have enacted as a country, we need to see how we can support in achieving them and even catalyzing the process. We need to move at a faster speed so that even when we have the Africa we want, I think of 2064, by that time we should have achieved gender parity.
Yes.
And even in education, access, you know, we might say we have 50-50 boys and girls in school.
Yes.
And we have achieved access. But let's follow the girls after and let's follow the boys after. The boys tend to do very nice courses that are relevant in the 21st century world. If you look at the courses that are quite relevant, they are mainly in the STEM career. And not to say that the people taking social sciences are not important, but statistically, through research, we have seen that in this century, it is a technology, you know, world. It is about industrial revolution, for the industrial revolution. I think they call it Industry 4.0. And the careers that are needed, we are talking about doctors, people in tech, scientists, and those sort of things. Yes. And those courses are mainly taken by men. So our girls are still left behind. Yeah. And I was actually reflecting on the implication of this policy that we have passed of having only 2 courses that determine, that are compulsory. And of course, you need 7 to get the final grade, but only 2, maths and a language, that are important to give you the final. So if you look at, if I was a student in high school, and I'm told, by the way, you just need maths and a language and any other 5, I might stop working hard in maths, not in maths, in biology, in chemistry, in physics, because those are very hard-on courses. So the implication is that we might see people not taking STEM, whether they are girls or they are boys, because I mean, they will be like, let me take the easier. But still, we need people to support our country in manufacturing. We need people to support our country in building roads, in building houses. And these are not just in social sciences. And the prediction, I know the country has predicted that through CBC, we should have 60% of the learners going to STEM careers. But we are, of course, making other in between policies that might have an implication on that. And the point I was making is that these STEM careers are still dominated by men. By men,
correct. Daktari, we'll come back and perhaps summarize on that, because that is a big challenge we need to face, you know, as a country, so that we'll be able to achieve the gender parity. You've had about almost 300 years. Wow, there is almost how many generations to go? And the Daktari, hold it there. We'll be right back. International Day for the Girl Child. In emit notan bakanya ge ningwen ko mugule gusini gong en anitet en gune machimit ke bagenge nagenge agoi county ne bakari chere stai en gune ngalaga be climate summit exhibition en county notan bakari chere miten as reporter nyane Robert Sile. Yes, Robert Sile hotiga sech ndonger so eten gune arorwech na gi notan stai en day 2 exhibition en county notan bakari chere Robert.
Kungoi missing bora Mr. in studio nebo Kass TV anyorunen oret nekararan ole kou kemwa miten nguni en kiwanjet noton nebo sosiot nemiten en sub county nebo Belkuten county nebo Kericho ole kachut betutab oeng igorto nebo kabartaetab kabatisiet nebo Kericho County Climate Smart Exhibition Belkut edition nekiyoe en komasita ole katestai komongei biikab emet kong'eten betutab amut akoi betutab raini ole en betutab raini ko taban nebo tetutik anan kanetisosiek chetesetai en stalls cheterter chemiten en komasitan ko niton kora ko betut nekere kot missing temik anan kabatik ak biikab emet nebo kokoitoetab konunotoik koityi temik anan che kotestai kobor kakiletabgei kotinygei ak tetutik cheterter so bora Mr. En nguni komiten stalls anan tentisiek cheite 100 anan exhibitors cheite 100 chekaimuch koit komasitan asikotesentai boisiet neinegen nebo kabartaetab tetutik cheterter chebo kabatisiet so ko en nguni leikere komiten anan kakitaunen kebeberta noton nebo KCC ole en nguni kemiten ak noton ko Sylvester Rono le amache sikobit akochi inendet boroindo kotestai ole biketwechini tai sanam anamaka atestai noton kotakarketar en betutab rani Sylvester Rono itakat mangen ale une Kericho ak Bomet kotam kemwoe kelelen agenge kayu ko kabwerit oli
komi ko kuren waldai buret ko waldai ana lene maldai yus ko waldai ko wale kipsigisiek tugul korone ingen amune so ka oliton biikab kipsigis kikipcheunege Bomet ko district netaa nekibo kipsigis ko Bomet
so nyolu komang'une ng'o nebo ne kongoi missing
noton ko Robert Shelle sirindetab logoiwek nebo county nebo Kericho kou ye kaikas iman ko en betutab amut ko kotoige kabartaetab tugukab kabatisiet ne noton ko business show nekotesetai en kebeberiton bo sosiot kiwanjetab sosiot chitab kalenjin kou ye kaikas kotesetai kakonam kobwa biik kokerchigei tuguk kobaten kit nomoche tiosomin nemiten gaa ilabatu miten boyot arap Kimeto koitu en olimbo Australia ko nokoria konam kobaibai biik en kiwanja yu ak tienik alak biik chekonech kabaibaitet en ortinwek cheterter so kit kityo nekimoche keyai komoche kinam kechutyin kebe komosta netai nenimong'u en mlango ko nesibiruse ko miten komositon ko police ako ak inyun kebeberta nebo KCC kotinyegei ng'alekab chego amache kityo kinamen komosta netinyegei ak komositon amache kenyorun mi chito nekimoche kenyorun otestai okwek koker imuch ot kora kotimache ikotisie en television inyun kora amache ng'o imwa kainet
kikurenan Kiprotich Robert arap Kurich kainet age kekurenan Blackie yes
bwana Blackie keitu raini show nemiten komositon bo sosiot ne imuche imwochi chito nemiten gaa
amuche amwochi chito ale nemi gaa alenji katanyolu komi sikoker tuguk chetesetai en ng'alekab mbar ng'alekab baetab teta baetab segemik ak baet akot nebo nego yes
iker kora kotiker ot en dairy ele kitektoi keiker ele kiboitoi aker ot keibu ketit kalia kecham keti
keti kokonon biik chebo Pakson kabaalishe en Pakson aal kerichek chekiboisien en mbar kokonon keti ole sibwoti Pakson
so ngonyo chito kora ireu kotor kotitoki
yes kot konyo chito yu kotor kotitoki yes
so chi nemi gaa kamwa Blackie kole ilabatu ireuton kiwanjetab sosiot kimoe kinamen KCC ama inamen kaineng'ung imwowech boisiet neyoe en KCC ak iarorwech kotinygei ak KCC kityenji kowal besio KCC kole kirenget molo ole bendi chego KCC ko kong'eten ko KCC ak chego chitab kolenjin ak teta mi ele tuyechin ama inamen kaineng'ung ak imwoe boisiet neyoe en KCC
kikurenan Julius Arapto ami atononjini ng'alekab raw milk procurement ak extension procurement nebo chego ko kiumi chego kong'eten wakulima ak choton chekakomen kulaisiek anan chemuche koib individually ak ineti kora komuch kotes chechoton so kasit noe noton
Kongoi missing. Inam anyun iarorwech en betutab raini. Ngonyo chito put neng'wong'et nebo KCC ko ne nenyoru si chito nemiten gaa kolobot asikobit kotakonai komie.
Ngunon en yu kemi kineti wakulima sikotes production nenywan en mbar. Komi kitinye ngunon desmodium en mi lusan ak fodder vines choto ko rich in proteins. Ako mi maruyot kora nekilen Pakchong ko nebo kisasa nemi ngunon en crude protein komi 18% ako chogu kora amakose kemei ko noton nekimuche kineti wakulima koboisien Pakchong ngamun chan tugul chon kosikotes chego mkulima ko lazima kotinye amitwogik so kit nekinete ngunon en extension kemoche ngunon kotes chego ngamun netes chego inyoru kelchin en boisionoton.
Aker kora mi baka rabwoniot, toreti ne rabwoniot en teta?
Rabwoniot ko high in proteins. So koni ko kikidesignen in a way ne ngunon kibaen teta makilen in kiame so koba teta majorly.
Ingomasi agere miten kora agere miten mga lactometa miten ngine kikuren alcohol netes ama yarorwek kityo ak yarorwek kora products chotindoi ko KCC en betutab raini.
Noton ngunon kokonchi mkulima kebimoni sikenai kele kanyor the quality neyamat makimoche keteshi chego beek amamoche ngunon king'ol chebo anan keburuch chebo langat ak chebo asubuhi kibu kando kando. So kaya ngalechoto kebimoni tugul asikomaba ngalekab processing komakiyande no factory.
So ngorunen chego kotindo maiwek.
Mokilen ine ngorunen kele ngunon ngalekab bacteria ko ngamun chego ko very nutritious en ngalekab bacteria. So ngorunen ama preserve komie kongemakse. So kemoche ngunon kipreserve komie asikoron ngeibu kobwa factory kotakomi komie amamoche keburuch. So ngunon yekake chebo asubuhi keib kando kando.
So agere kararan noniton kabisa. So en wakindo chitab kolenjin komwaun KCC kole chekwak ko kororon ako ribotin products an chotindoi cheoldoi kakeib chego en roba kobwa ireu amaityo kimwa en wakindo asikebendi kenyoru komosta age.
Ngunon yekakaba factory komi chekile long life. Long life kobendi up to 6 months. So komi cha fresh. So kochoto tugul kemi kerote sikobit koba soko. Alak komi poda yang kachanga chego ngunon makilen makibe chego mkulima. Lazima ke dry joto koba poda sikoron betut nemi chego ke reconstitution joto akowek kora kou chego. Kitinye kora yogurt, kitinye mala. Ko chan tugul ko products chebo KCC.
Kongoi mising. So yo miten chito nguni nemiten ireu kotiach ireu kotor kotuyo ak yogurt nebo KCC ako en miten kampunishek alak chetieme koyai akichek in komong'u yogurt ama imwochi kororonindo distinction neter en yogurt nebo KCC.
KCC ko quality chechok komi barak. Ko nionjan ot chego chebo KCC gold crown area ko the best. Inyon yogurt nekile coconut the best. Mi strawberry the best. Ko ngomi chi nemoche onde nama agenge nyon komewe kotor ibaorian iman ile mi komie.
Kekon arusa anome. Achome kekacham agenge nimbo coconut. Yes, so kongoi mising agere ot boisiek chemi yu koboiruchengei kabisa. Kongoi mising kekele ngo kainet ako ibunu kokwet ainon.
Kurenan Julius Arap Ruto. Ko ngomi chi nemoche kokonech chego kobwa KCC ketoche mami betut nekile makemoche chego ako kiliponi in time. Anan ngomi chi nemoche kokonech chego ko the nearest cooperative nemi koteb information anan konyo KCC en factory nemi karibu ketoche chego.
Kongoi mising noton ko agenge en ofisaek chebo kampunit nebo KCC New KCC. Kimiten chitab kolenjin komosto nebo sosiot kiwanjet en betutab raini kemiten en kabartaetab tuguk chebo kabatisiet anan nguni kimwoe kele en nguni komoche keyai kabatisiet koik mung'aret. Ko ngokwa kemwa kele kabatisiet konyolu inyoru keswek chekororon kabwa biik cheborto tuguk cheterter. Kemiten nguni booth anan kebendi nguni shed nebo Kenya Seed, kampunit nebo Kenya Seed. Emae kekerchin nguni komosto nebo kabatisiet asikeweken kora kenyoru boisiek chemi yuno chemoche komwa ng'alek ak kibwone nguni komosomot wao kabisa. Agere kabisa komoe komwa ng'olyon en Kass TV. Kimoe kinamen kekas kit nemwoe komosto nebo Kenya Seed. En ireu komiten keswek chitab kolenjin chon okose keborostoi atkan kora chekabwa betutab raini. Mon ole ng'o nekinome amoe inyon ireu madam sikobit koik rahisi keng'ololi olan tugul. Ing'ololi Kiswahili anan huyu ataongea Kiswahili so na nawal kutit chitab kolenjin keng'alal Kiswahili. Kwa siku ya leo mko hapa sosiot kama ni Kenya Seed. Nataka tu uelezee mtu mwenye anatuangalia siku ya leo kuhusiana na nyinyi na mbona mmekuja sosiot na mtu akiingia hapa atapata nini?
Sisi kama Kenya Seed tumekuja kuonyesha wakulima kwamba tuko na mbegu ya all the zones yenye inaweza pandwa katika zones ya medium altitude na low na highland, na najua sosiot watu wengi wanafanya dairy. Tumekuja na nyasi ya ng'ombe ya Boma Roads, tumekuja na pasture seeds ya Lusana Desmodium kwa sababu wakulima hapa wamediversify, wameanza kufanya dairy, wengi wanafanya dairy farming. Tumekuja ku make sure wakulima wote wako sorted na seeds ya Kenya Seed, na tuko na maragwe, tuko na sorghum, tuko na finger millet na tuko na horticultures. Wamama wale wenye wanafanya ukulima ndogo ndogo ya shamba ya agribusiness, tumewa adapt wote hapo kwa sababu watu wanafanya siku hizi agribusiness. Mboga ya 3 months, mahindi ya 3 months iko, finger millet biashara, unaweza weka kwa mahindi. Siku hizi unaongeza sorghum na unaongeza wimbi kwa mahindi, so that unafanya unaongeza value, kwa inaitwa value addition kwa mahindi. So we have tumekuja kusaidia wakulima na ku make sure wakulima wote wamepata mbegu ya Kenya Seed. Tunataka wakulima wote wa hapa Sosiot, Belgut wanunue mbegu ya Kenya Seed.
So kama yeye yako nyumbani, akuja hapa kwenu saa hii atapata mbegu. Nimeona pale mko na mbegu mingi ya chakula. Mboga ya kienyeji nimeona.
Tuko na mboga ya kienyeji, tuko na saget, tuko na managu, tuko na mrenda na tuko na chepkerta. Inaitwa aje kwa chelwanda. Tuko na chelwanda. So kwa mama wote ambao wanapenda mboga ya kienyeji tumewakuja hapa kwa sababu yao.
Umesema ukweli. Uchasema tu jina yako. Jina yako ni?
Mimi naitwa Maureen Mwei, niko Kenya Seed Kericho. Tuko pale Cereals Board Kericho, the last warehouse. Na pia tuko na agents wenye wanauza mbegu yetu town, wenye wanaweza, kama uwezi fika Cereals Board, unaweza fika kwa agents wenye wanauza mbegu ya Kenya Seed.
Asante sana Madam Wei. Amesema ko loldo chepkerta miten kotimache isagek, imache suyot, komuch inyoru tugul en yoton tugul amun en betutab raini kokakimiten komosta nebo Kericho. Agere bamongo nemi ireu. Imwa ng'olyono baba. Mwa kainet tot buch en television nemi Kass TV.
Okay, Julius Tele.
Kinyo raini ikerchigei boisionik en ireu. Imuch imwa ine chito nemi gaa.
Amwachini sikokilgei, sikoatenden kuniton akine boisiet. Ngekursogei bwa keker ng'alekab exhibition.
Kongoi mising noton ko agenge en biik chekabwa ireu kakonyokoen dibutit nebo Kenya Seed. Kokomoche kabisa koker kole kaikoito anan kamwochi kakas ng'alek asikobit kokoito. Kimiten kora komosta nebo NSSF, miten chebo komosta nebo kakere biikab Maklik, Kupas komiten kora komosinto, agere biikab Marisha en ireu. Imoe kityo keitun komosta nebo komositon bo NSSF asikobit kekat ichek kele ikoito ne betutab raini. Ireuton kale ikoito adoption, tuguk chekororon kabisa, innovation, adoption of climate smart farming to boost food security and Kiingereza iba sukul la Kiingereza chemi yu. Kongoi mising Kass TV ireu yemiten ikose kikalea na kibe una tuinge. Kongoi mising amache tikimwoe kaineng'ung'et ak imwoe kotinygei ak boot neng'wong'et nebo NSSF.
En kainutik kekurenon Philip Langat, branch manager nebo Kericho. En raini kakibwan kesupporten agribusiness en Kericho County. Kakiboiboenchi amun it is an opportunity ketuye na customaekyok. Kitinye customer bichu tugul chumi ko customers chechok. They are private companies, but today I want to also tell our customers that we've gone even beyond the private companies. Even disciplined forces are within NSSF. Amangwa lokogeren kasarwek chekosirto kobwane polisiek, kobwane biikab KDF ko register with NSSF because we have a new scheme. NSSF has a new act where it caters for contribution in terms of Tier 1 ak Tier 2. So en kasarwek chebwane kesome ot sikebwa studio sikearorchin customaekyok kokuyo kole NSSF kokoito ne amun en kasarwek chekikosirto ko kicham keyoe kityo chekibore provident contribution, ko kicham keliponi lump sum, ni contributen 300 kekonin 300, but the new act ko kokechangen in such a way that I contributen 6% ko contributen the employer 6%, and that 12% in total will give you a pension in retirement, where you enjoy pension like any other government institution. Ujonja mikase chito kolenen kobe kelipanan pension kilipanan kila arawet chekile. So that is where we are at the moment. In the next 10 years, ko kakomaturen that act, and it is very important kearorchin biik chok kelenjin kikoitoi kadishek en yu ak kikoitoi en office. Yon itinye kipandet konyolu kobendote ak kaditab ano NSSF. That is very important. So we are here to sensitize our customers.
So amun miten ireu ako miten chito nekerechen Kass TV nguni amache ikur amun kokere ot ane akose ngalek chekotonyolu takas amache ot koromunye anyone ti arorwon amache ikur chichoto tinye tebutik chechang tinye tuguk cheikoim chetinye kake NSSF konyo ele nyorchok en ireu
Ole kinyorchech ko Sinendet second floor kenyorchin NSSF en Kericho County. But kitinye another office esotik aketinye en Narok aketindoi en Eldoret aketindoi en Nakuru ak huduma centers all over. Every county go almost komi NSSF huduma. Yes.
Kungwe mising bamongo omongo lege boiboiboiboenchi chitab kolenjin ngalalet nekokenyoru nangetestai kebe anata branch en ireu komosta age biik chetesetai chitab kolenjin kononiton ko biik chekekas kole miten ireuton bo sosiot aye chome kemiyu yon ikose kora nguni kemiten ireu kobire test boyot arap Kimeto kochobochobi kotesteni mashinisiek kokas kot koboisie so ko nguni ndekas inye background nenyunet ko mashinisiek chemoe konde tiendo boyot ale kakibwan olingwong asinyokikatkei akibwan kiamenge logoi ko yon kitakiamenge logoi kemoe kechut but age kora nebo Imarisha Sacco kekas kitam kolen biik bo konetik kemoe kekas kot ko konetik icheken amoe keit ko ireuton mono ole ngo nekeng'ololi tuan en Imarisha Sacco inendet bas kikurenon Sylvester Rono nebo Kass Media kimiten Kass live en television nenyonet amae iname buch ot kainet kokas biik kole kimi ak Imarisha anamu.
Thank you Kogoi Sylvester Rono en kainenyun kekurenon Kipkemoi Kelong aboisien Imarisha Sacco manager netononjin temik kikuren MSME Micro Small and Medium Enterprise.
So Imarisha ko mabo konetik kityo.
Mabo konetik kityo. Kinge open up bone, kingeat bone kobunji chitugul. Po baka lakwet nemingin, po temik, chitugul kako chito nesobe. Kobo Imarisha Sacco. Yes.
Kiaite members yo itete kotindo lakwenyunet ki mono ole ne niton amoe mwoe.
Kinoni kekuren in boch. Koni niyat account nekuren parrot account ko parrot account kobo lakwet nemingin. Lakwet non kokisiche raini baka 18 years. Keyotyini account nekuren parrot account. Yikokeyotyi akonde musasi 1000 kityo. Kikochi t-shirt ini. Ikere t-shirt ini ketindoi t-shirt different colors. So kikoini kalait nechome lakwet and then akikoi bochini. Ko bochini ko rabinik chekoseveni ko seveni lakwet. Kireyu kwame kochut 1000 ame kochut notit age tugul ak kwame kochut ot any coins.
Amache kikele makisir ka chepto nenyunet kinaonde ngweny rabiet kowirchi. So kararan ki.
Kararan ki yikorinde ko ibungwetab ki kemeto en office. Singochut rabinik kireyu kombenyoru kotatun konyi oiboi lakwet nyekindechi account nenyinet.
So amache ng'ololchi chito nemi gaa chito nemi ireu akobo Imarisha konyor chokono ako en counties tugul chebo chekose chekere chekiityini ko ki Kass Media Group imwochi kora ole nyoruchin kotko miten branches all over imwochi kora asikobit koik rahisi ole nyorundo.
Thank you kongoi. Imarisha Sacco ko Sacco nekinomi en 1978. Ko Sacco ako nguni kemite counties chechang. Kimite niwegu in Uasin Gishu County. Kemite Eldoret en Uasin Gishu County. Inyo Nandi County kemite Nandi Hills. Inyo Kisumu County ketindoi Awase branch ak ketindoi market outlet en Kisumu branch. Kericho County kole mite Gate office ketindoi Kericho branch, ketindoi Bureti branch. Komite Litein Bureti branch. Iwe Bomet County ketindoi Bomet branch, ketindoi Danai branch ak ketindoi Mulot branch. Iwe Narok County ketindoi Narok branch ak ketindoi Kilgoris branch. Iwe Nakuru County ketindoi Nakuru branch ak ketindoi Kirenget branch. Akebanyi the capital city of Kenya, Nairobi, ketindoi branch en Upper Hills, Nairobi branch.
So biik chemi Nairobi ko togotin korwai.
Inyoru service tugul en branches chechon kamwa tugul chebo in Imarisha. Ako kitindoi kora in agents chechoket chebo in Imarisha. Ngemite ken in area ini ndendi ile kibare in Chemnyoka Ngireyu. Ketindoi agent nebo Imarisha Sacco. Nenyoru service tugul chebo Imarisha.
Koi mising akere biik chemi ireu mwany amariakta kityo komachi biik oeng somok en okwa komwa kainet ako mwa kole yoe ne en Imarisha. So ng'one chepchep. Aya mwa kainet ng'et television.
En kainutik ko Nicholas Arap Koech amiten department nekibore Micro Small and Medium Enterprise.
Kongoi mising. Koni madam anan ng'o? Name kainet.
Kainenyu ko Marian Langat, ami marketing department.
Kongoi mising imarisha sako unity strength otestai nanget kinakten kebe komosta nebo ireu kebendi kekeroti tuguk chetesetai en ireuton en kimiten nguni komoswek cheterter chon ikose ko boyot arap Kimeto kotesetai kotieni ak kokonu boisionik cheterter inono kora ko anataput netesetai nebo agricultural finance corporation miten nebo ireu unga farm care miten kora komoswek cheterter chetesetai ak boisionik cheterter cheboisie chebo oldo tugukwaket miten kora en ireu nebo superfeeds en ireu komiten Paxons biik cheoldo kabisa amitwogik cheterter ako akere miten chi nemiten ireu nebo komosta nebo unga feeds nyon inye bamongo nyotestai inye anan imoe katisien television Kongo mising kikurenon Sylvester Rono nebo Kass. Agere kemiten kama
Philip Kimeto.
Philip Kimeto elione.
Penda kazi ya Kericho. Na hii kazi ya agricultural show is very nice. Mimi naomba tu gavana aendelee na hii. Yes.
Akimache kotestai kila.
Amache kotestai kila. Asike kosomeshane law. Ingeleger what is happening here. Koboru in the classroom. Especially the CPC now. You know?
Anine ni iboti boyot kenyoru ketuye ak in
me am a diehard nebo milk. Mimi napenda maziwa. So I was coming for milk and I have 2 cows there, Frisian animals. So I was looking for the stand and I've seen the stand. So they gave me the milk. So I'm telling everybody in Kenya and anybody at home, akuja angalie hii maziwa and everything else. I've been to AFC. Let us come here.
Thank you very much. Matisi Putin ba bam ke otiger jige buja mitwogi.
Yes. Look at that.
Nyoni ro ba nani amache we ndio amache na me kainet kama kotingolani kutit ak mitten live en Kass TV.
Kwa majina naitwa Agre Abuga. Mimi nafanya na Unga Farm Care. Unga Farm Care sana sana tunashughulikia mambo ya dairy. So we are very happy kwa sababu governor support county in terms of dairy and these are dairy zone. So we urge the governor to support dairy. And the Unga Farm Care, what we normally do, huwa tunasaidia wakulima wetu kukuza mifugo yao vizuri na kulisha. Tuko na chakula za fugo, kuna dairy meal, kuna chakula tunaita lactostat yenye wakulima wengi hawajui, ambayo ng'ombe kama karibu kuzaa mbakisha mwezi mmoja na mwezi mmoja baada ya kuzaa anapewa. Tuko na chumvi za afya bora, tuko na mafuta yanaitwa Champion Milking Salve wakati mkulima anakamua kuzuia mastitis lazima mkulima atumie hiyo mafuta. Alafu pia tuko na dawa za minyoo kama Nemazol. So na vitu zingine zenye huwa tunafanya aside ya hizi zenye tunauza, huwa tunaenda kwa wakulima kuwatembelea shambani, wakulima wa mifugo, ng'ombe, nguruwe, kuku, hata samaki wale wenye wamefuga. Yeah.
So nikikuuliza tu kama mkulima amekuona saa hii na anataka bidhaa zenu, zinapatikana all over?
Yeah, bidhaa zetu zinapatikana kila kwa maduka zote. Tuko na distributors kama Kericho, tuko na distributors ukienda sehemu zote kila county Kenya mzima. Alafu tuko na Fugo Smart app. Ukienda wale wenye wako na simu za smartphone, unaweza enda kwa simu yako, kuna Play Store, kuna kitu tunaita Fugo Smart app unaweka kwa Play Store, alafu unapata mafundisho yote yenye yanakufundisha kuhusu Unga Farm Care.
Asante sana, sawa. Karibu sana. Sasa kanongo ka kimiten komosta nebo Unga Farm Care ko kakororwech kotinge ak tuguk cheoldo mising ko kokimite Paxson Enterprises. Komositon.
Paxsons ko tuget nenyonet. Kialdoi tuguk cheu dairy meal. Ako en Paxson ini ko kitinye products cheterter kou mbolea chebo chaik, ak ketinye mbolea chekimindo bandek, ak ketinye chekiboen ngokenik, tuguk tugul chombo mbar inyorchini Paxsons.
So ingonyo chito kiro onyorchingei tuguk choniton kemwa tugul.
Nyorchingei kila kitu, okot kerichek chebiten iteren marakwek asimanam miondo anan asimanam koristo, inyoru kerichot nebore Oshoten, ak age nekikuren Ridomil. So
Sikonget koik rahisi ko ngonyo chito kityo konyokoit konyor en Pakson, lakini kor kakiker bain amun suke raini kabartane komuche konyor chokono biik en
okay, raini ko kakimangu en our place netam kemiten county assembly opposite Kericho town. So nyoru biikab Pakson komiten opposite county assembly Kericho town. Yes.
Kongoi mising noton ko kebeberta nebo Pakson kibendi ketesetai chitab kolenjin kebortoti chi age tugul amache iitu kabisa koroniton amun kolen betutab raini ko baibai mie kasit kabisa kimwoini kongoi biik bere biik en yono tesetai kokerchingei tuguk cheborto en iryon kakonyor bamong'om kakonyor kanyor maruriat baba amaimwa imi Kass TV bamong'om amaimwowe kainet ak imwowech kekerchigei ne raini en esio nemi sosio.
Kaker boisiet netomo kekere inoni ko kakowek any kora kanetisionik kibo Daniel Arap Moi konyo sosio amun kisikar kenai kii ko ki Daniel Arap Moi ako kikere kele kii ko kit nekararan amun echek kechome tuga teta kit nekimoche mekere kakenam kartasisiek kele sikoron kekur kora takitari konyo asikobit konyokonetech en yonito ako akoib nebo maroriat kakile noni komaute chi kole basi noibai nito asikobit any kobokoi kabarunet en ole kayobu ameng'unen Keben kureno Joseph Arap Too abile Chelda nebo Keben aboroindet ko ane aboroindet anwe kap cheptalamek bas korenyun boriet kumurkab Too.
Kongoi mising noton ko agenge en biik chekabwa show nebo betutab raini nekaboisie kabisa nekang'alal ako kaker ng'alekab kabatisiet kole kakoib kitabut kole show ni kokineti introducenjin Arap Moi ko kamoche kityo kakere kainetisie werto nebo Kubas mongen kot tinye ng'olyon anan tesetai kityo kakere tuguk cheyoe chemiachen en ireu amoche kityo atonosin kiten kityo kimwa kityo kaineng'ung'et ak imwawech ile ne betutab raini netesetai en but neng'ung'et.
Okay. Kwa majina ni Festus, ane kuran Festus B. Aboisie companytab CKL Africa. And today kemiten komosta nebo Sosioti, Kericho County. Ineti temik akobo ripsetab kiagik. Ako temik chekabwa raini ko kakoboiboikitu amun kakinet ele kiriptoi moita, ele kiriptoi rorwek, ele kiriptoi teta ne dry cow non nekit asikoi ako ele kiriptoi kora teta nombo chego. So temik chebo komosi raini ko kakobit konyor kanetisiet ne inegen kobun kampunit nebo CKL Africa. En betutab raini ko kakinet temik chumbik che tofauti sana sana temik eleo ko kitomo kokuyo kole requirements according to moek requirements chebo rorwek requirements chebo teta non nekit sukoi ko tofauti. So kakobit kinet temik raini ngalekab chumbik ak kinet temik ele kiriptoi kora external parasites and internal parasites. Kakobit kinet temik ele yoche keriptoi kiagikyok asikonyor afya nekararan.
Angot komache chito konetkei kiy konyoru ako kora kot komuche komaimuche koit ireu komuche konyor en branches chekwaket en counties alak.
Echek ko ki CKL Africa ketindoi branches in each and every county, especially temik chemiten Kericho County ko imuche konyor temik these are our products in Kericho County. Kitindoi our distributor nekikuren Paxons, imi Nakuru ketindoi Farmers World, miten komosta nebo Bomet ketindoi our distributor kikuren Bomagro. Imiten Narok ketinye our distributor kikuren Danali. Imiten olimbo Kiambu, imiten olimbo Nyahururu, ketindoi all our distributors are all over the country.
Konyoru kanetisioni tugul en yoton.
Temik che miten komosoto miten near the distributors komuche konyor kanetisiek tugul amun en each and every county ko CKL Africa kotindo reps ako tindo kora agronomist chemuch konet temik choto en ele miten.
Noton ko CKL Africa mo testa oneti kineta ana kemoe kotishe mama en television raini. Ikuren ngo?
Cecilia Tono.
Kongoi mising. Kale ikuren Cecilia kenyor konetishet. Kongoi. Yoton ko alak en kabatik anan biik chekakobwa en betutab raini komositon koboiboenchi kabisa kit netesetai en ireu. So kong'eten ireu kebendi komosta nebo Yara kesungukan komosin kobaten amun akere tesetai en boisionik niton amun en ireton komoche koborwok en komosi okere boyot arap Kimeto tesetai kotieni koboiboi biik. Ile ter kasit Cheplakani. Chito nemi sosyo netom itu yu komongen amun ene sikomemi yu. Katien kole kimi oling'wong sinyokikatkei. Kibendi komosta age tesetai kemoe kitakibarwok kityo kele ne nemiten ireu en komositon bo sosyot. Kimiten en ireu ikere kora biik chebo Yara ko ichek ko biik cheikoito keswek, ikoito boisionik cheterter ako boto kora tindo mbolea. Biikab Yara labatun yu. Yes. Kongoi mising Sylvester ono nebo Kass inoni kimiten live en Kass. Amache kityo chito agenge kobun komosta neng'wong'et asikobit imwowech akobo booth neng'wong'et ne nobortoi en ireu ako ne kit nenyoru mkulima yekakotyech yu.
Kongoi mising. En ireyu ko kampunitab Yara East Africa. Echek keoldoi mbolea ak chumbik chebo tuga. En yuton ikere ko colleagues chechuk ak temindet tesetai ko explainenchin what's going on. So kitinye mbolea various variety, kitinye chekiminsen, kitinye kora mbolea chebo top dressing, kitinye kora mbolea nikuren Yaramila Wina kobo horticulture, Yaramila 2555 kobo chaik, nebo kawek ak tugul. Boto kora chumbik chebo tuga. Kitinye kora folia chebo cereals and horticulture ak chebo chaik, avocado ak kawek. So kileini temik kobwa en wingi nyekinetkei tugul. Ako kioldoi kora mbolea chuto en bei nafuu.
So en betutab raini kokomiten ireu kiwanjet ireu. Tos amache imwoe kora tos kinyorwok en komoswek alak anan okwek en keut komi ano?
En Kericho ak Bomet kemiten kiboisie ak distributors inyorwech en Tulwet en Kericho, en Bomet inyorwech en Sai ak Isenya. Kimiten also all the agrovets chemi around kemiten.
So chi age tugul nemiten gaa komoche konai akobo mbolea akobo tuguk chekororon chekiboisien en imbar komuche konyorwok en booth neng'wong'et en betutab raini.
Kabisa muche konyo ako taketinye time aleini temik tugul kobwa keregistange asikenai tugul ak ketestai kibagenge. Kongoi
mising weron kobo Yara Mila koichek kole oldo keswek mbolea cheboisie kabisa chemi komie ter kabisa kamwaun ale ter kasit en betutab raini. Kimoche kebe komosta nemi taban ireu kebe kenyorun kebe komosta age nemiten ireu. Akere chorwenyun en yo birindetab pichainik age nekolkol kabisa nemi yu nekakonyo komosi raini. Komosi ko biikab kora miten kora tuguk chekiborto en komosi cheterter. Kole moe kokotis kucha hapa nyolobatun ireu kole moe kokotis moe konyo kokotis lobatun taa yu nyone baba yu. Bas ng'o ni yu?
So which language should I use?
Use Kale.
Kale. Amune biik chok chebo Kalenjin. Abaibai ami ireu ak Sylvesters ak chi tugul. Kass Media is the place to be. Karibuni tuangalie maono. Yes.
Kongoi mising. So inye kouwon ibirindetab pichainik kebiro inye pichainik kenyoru kekerchigei tuguk keinetkei ne.
Kaker obiron alen obirok picha ak ane.
Kongoi mising. Noto ko Moody inendet ko birindetab pichainik. So komoche oborun chitab ole miten kora biik cheterter cheborto tuguk cheter en batai yu. Ikere booths cheterter chekanyi biik chekiborchin tuguk chetesetai en yoto. Tuguchu tugul kotinye ak kabatisiet, mi chechobe yogan, mi nenobe mursik, mi nechobe logoek, mi nechobe ne tuguk tugul kucha hapa inyon ikerchigei. Kimoche kityo angebe yuno bokeker boyot kutiegei tumbo main stage asikobit iker kit netesetai en yoton. Leo ni leo kolein ra kora en betutab raini sikobit inai kit netesetai en komositon bo Kericho. Kemiten Kericho neyoton ko exhibition nebo kabatisiet en komositon bo Kericho sosiot. Ireu koborun akobo sponsors chekatuiyo ak noniton chekaimuch koibun en betutab raini ng'alekab exhibition. Kass Media Group, Kericho County, New KCC, Red Oak, ak chang iso komakekerchigei chono ko sponsors ako CKL Africa, KPLs ko noniton ko miten ireu ak boyot tienindet legend daktari mwenyewe tonon en ireu. Amae konyor ota koboswe kidogo volume, boswe volume kidogo asikobit keng'alal. Amache bas karibu ingele inye ko keitu en olimbo chumbek kemoche itenoku komosib among sikobit ing'ololwech ak ingele ile chito nemoingen kole imi sosiot komaimwochi ilele mi kosinye temi oli. Sasa oritakat en betutab raini.
Kongoi missing.
Sa amache imwochi chitab Kalenjin angen ale ingen inile amoe imwochigei ak iarorwech en betutab raini ne nekiexpecteni en ireu.
Kongoi missing bikyok chebo Kalenjin cheokere anan cheokere en ketesiet nebo Kass TV. Ineni ko Pastor Joel Kimeto kou yongen ole tienindet ng'wong kobo kenyisiek chekakoba tai yono. Abaibai missing kikondoiwon kamuktaindet en banda nekiatou ang'et en emetab Kenya ak awe amanda en ole kile Mauritius awe emetab Australia. Koyat Jehova oret kokaatar aroek somok en Australia awe emetab America. Ak kiyakatate bikyok lagokyok mi bikyok chebo Kitwek en olimbo South Australia ak Western Australia. Ak ketinye kora lagokyok chemi Melbourne chekurengei Taunet ak ketinye kora chemiten olimbo Sydney chekurengei Kokwet. Ko bichoton ko bikyok biik agenge bikyok chebo Kalenjin ak biikab emenyon kora nebo Kenya. Ko kakang'et en emonon awe emetab America ak ibawe kotab kaa. Kotab kaa ketinye chepkametinyon nekikuren Janet Ruto neindochin kotab kaa nguni ko the current president ak kikibe emetab Houston ne noton komiten miten lekikuren Texas Houston. Ak kikituye kora biik chechang chebo Kalenjin lagokyok chekikoyaptagei koba emonin. Ne amache acher bikyok chechang lagok chemengechen biik chemengechen chetore sukul alechi oye ongemanden kebe sang olin yon kabit boroindo makiywei. Bikyok kocham kosole bikyok kakimwoe kele kosorem kuk chumbik. Kemoche kosore emet bikyok asikobit kesopche.
Kiketyenchi ot ilenchi yekaobe yoton obe ako nam
emet kipketyen en emetab Australia ketyen tienwogik atyen ale riretab Musa. Ak alechi biik chemi oloton nyongik ak kipnyigeyek chekinam emonoton ale onam emoni ak onam kobuncho. So
ko en betutab raini kemiten yu amun kokere kemoe sikebe ot betien agenge nguni en ireu tokon ker chitab Kalenjin nenyone sosiot kole imiten ireu ko betutab raini ko ne netesetai en yu ko ne nekiexpecteni kobun komosta neng'ung'et ak Great Commission.
En yu ko en Great Commission ko keperformeni tienwogik ketieni live ak Great Commission singers. Ak boiboiyenyu neo ko kanyon ak asungukan ak atembean ak aro emaisiek chemiten yu chekakilumda. Komiten tuguk chechang chekiborto biik cheboe kiagik komiten tuguk tugul yu. Biik kora cheibotisien mbarenik komiten kerichek ak komi keswek oli. Akot kaker katorochan bikyok cheboe idara nebo police en kurgat yuno amu bichoto ko biik chekimokyinigei missing cheribe kora emenyon. Ko kabaibaitu ak aker ale bikyok ngobwan kinetkei kiy amu ngur kemondoi en yu komakimondoi buch kokakeib kiy en naet nekakiker kiy age tugul. So togotin biik tugul kobwa ak kenyoru kora mieindo ak kanetetabgei nebo tuguk chechang.
Kongoi missing amache anyitet euno ak inam imas tiendo nguni amun katestai asikobit kewekte soet kebe Kass ak kebwan baadaye kinyoketestai. Chitab Kalenjin noton ko tienindet Joel Arap Kimeto neindochin nguni tiendo en kiwanjaniton bo sosiot kabartaetab tuguk chetinye kabotisiet nekotestai betutab amut ak raini en kol betut nebo let imoe kebir nguni tiendo imoe kebe kora ketakesungukan mi cheoldo avocado en yon miten chechobe ng'alekab tegek bamboo miten chebo tuga en komosin mi chechobe ng'alekab value addition en batai yuno chebo ng'alekab kechop yoghurt ak tuguk chon tugul. Chitab Kalenjin nilobotu yu iker nilobotu neikerech inye amune sikomenyon ko kong'eten county niton amache kewekte soet asikitingita kewege. Kainenyu ko Sylvester Rono.
Okay, kongoi missing Sylvester Rono ak Robert Sielo ng'eten county nebo Kericho. Katangawegen en olebo studio sobit kikesun en ng'alalet noton nebo rani korok ngenyoru logoiyan en studio asobit kewegen.